So good morning, everyone. We're going to start our final PTO meeting of the year. Thank you for attending today. Just as a reminder, we do record these meetings and I'll send the link out to the school community on Friday with my weekly message. The presentations today, we don't have a really packed agenda. If we have any participation, any questions from any of the people who are on the Zoom, feel free just to unmute yourself and jump right in. You don't have to wait for an opportunity. We'd love to have a little engagement back and forth, but if you could just, again, then mute yourself so any background noise doesn't become a distraction, that would be great. But we are going to start off with our first agenda item today, which are updates from our PTO president. Kyle, are you ready to go?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. No technical problems this week. First, I want to talk about this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. We just dropped off many dozens of donuts from Neil's Donuts in Middletown to the teachers this morning. So TJ's saving his for later. But that's a great way of kicking off our week. On Thursday, we will be having a luncheon for the teachers. And on Friday, we have a snack bar that's going to be set up in the workroom for them to stop by during the day to take some snacks. But I wanted to thank all the parents for so generously contributing to this week's events, both with items for the luncheon and for monetary donations towards the luncheon. We've been overwhelmed with how supportive the parents are. And I think the teachers, when I sent out an email to them yesterday, made sure they knew just how many parents have really wanted to be involved with this week's activities. So thank you very much for that. And I'm sure the teachers and staff will appreciate that. In addition to celebrating everybody in the building at Daniel Hand this week, all those people who are supporting our kids, last week we had a chance to say thank you to the administrative staff in the front office. And next week, we'll be able to do the same with the nurses who support every single one of our kids on a daily basis. And through PRC, the PTO also gives us a special thank you to the custodians and the bus drivers. So when you're wondering where your dues, if you paid your dues, go every year, we do use funds to support all these people who help keep Daniel Hand running smoothly, but also help support our kids in various ways throughout the year. So that's that. Last month, we were able to vote and ratify the new bylaws for the PTO. So thank you for those of you who were able to attend that meeting and helped us with that. We have also recently completed an audit of our financials. This is something we should be doing more than we do, but this year we had a parent and a teacher. Thank you to Elaine Capiello and Dave Tomaso, who both took the opportunity and time to review all of the financials that we have in place from last year and kind of give us a green stamp of approval to move forward. So thank you to those two. And just I just want always have transparency on the financials with the PTO. So, if there's any ever question from the parent body, you're welcome to ask. But we have outside people looking at those as well. And finally, we will have 2 board vacancies and a little bit of juggling around on the board for next year. Both myself and Beth Scudder are stepping down. So we have a new board slate that we are presenting today. Jan Scott, who's been our vice president for the last 2 years, is stepping up, thankfully, to be president. And Eileen Capiello and Carol Hesima have both stepped up and been nominated to be vice presidents. These roles will all be for the 2022 through 2024. It's a 2-year term academic year. And so TJ has we have to actually vote in the slate. It's not individual people, you're voting for the whole slate. And TJ has a survey he's going to pop up on the screen that we've been practicing with. So if you please, all teachers and parents and staff are who are on this call are welcome and encouraged to vote, please.
And I'm going to launch the poll in a moment, and just keep in mind that all responses are anonymous. I was able to set the poll up that way. So when you see it pop up on your screen, it would be excellent if everyone who is on this actual PTO meeting could actually register a response. So should be pretty seamless. Can everyone see that? All right, got some head nods, great.
I just want to add to that. Elaine, Carol are going to be joining Jan and Tracy Hardy, who's staying on as our treasurer, and Nicole Wiles, who's staying on as secretary. So next year's board is going to be great. It's a really solid, experienced board, and hopefully can continue to operate with fun events and support of the parent body.
So we have 21 of 23 attendees have participated in the poll, 22 of 23. So if you're the last one, feel free to enter. I don't know if that's me and I'm just not allowed to do it because I'm hosting the poll, but great participation rate. And Kyle, I will send you the results. It seems like everyone had a good opportunity to vote on this. So I thank everyone for their participation.
Thank you. And I think that's all I have, TJ, for PTO.
Thanks, Kyler. Does anyone else from our PTO have any updates that they wanted to share? I wasn't sure, just wanted to make sure. And perfect. Our next topic is Night in Hand. And we have Beth O'Keefe and Kyler will probably all chime in a little bit here. I would say, from my perspective, this is a really exciting update and looking forward to hearing from Beth right now. I know, Beth, you're still smiling when we say Night at Hand, so that's certainly a plus. I want to thank you in advance for taking on, this huge undertaking, to say the least. Kyler, you as well, and every other parent volunteer. We do need more, and we'll keep pushing that. But Beth, if you want to take some time to talk, feel free.
Oh, thank you very much. This is really a great undertaking. And, I really do encourage as many parents who are on this call to join our committees. This is really an extraordinary event, and it's really coming together, the enthusiasm, the participation. This is really going to be a great event for our kids. And like, I can't encourage you enough to try to be part of this team and, to make these memories. We have a lot of thank yous to, our prom dress event, which kind of kicked things off in must have been the end of March, was a success. I think it really got people thinking about proms and an interesting fundraiser going forward, for Night in Hand, for the spring fling. I think, we really have a lot of potential there. The auction was a huge success. We can't thank you enough for your participation, for your donations, for your attendance. It was a really extraordinary night. And again, too, I can only hope that people talk about it with the same kind of enthusiasm, because it really does bring the classes together. It really does kind of launch this whole Night in Hand event, really make, I have twins graduating, so it's doubly real for me, but, it really does bring that, whole idea that, this is the way to culminate this event and this 4-year experience for our kids. As far as Night in Hand goes, we are in good shape as far as things go. There are a couple of things that we did want to get out to the seniors, that lawn signs are in and they are available. When you registered, the registration fee did include part to get this sign. So on May 7th, Saturday, as again, too, I always tie things to bigger events, in light of Mother's Day. What better way to say Happy Mother's Day than to come to the Scranton Library between 10 and 1. You can pick up your graduation lawn sign, and we need senior parents to either drop off, pick up, stay and complete their senior memory boards. The pictures, the memories that you want to create for your children, that are going to be displayed in the, in the hallway, in the outside I guess like outside the CAF or like near the bridge. These boards need to be done hopefully like on Saturday, but we're encouraging everybody to come by and pick them up. You're going to see an e-notify go out this week that, elicits and kind of explains those last two things. And like, more importantly too, we still are in need of like volunteers, like design, decoration, moving. Probably, if you're thinking about getting a lot of sleep between now and graduation, this shift I hear is just a barn burner between like 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. as the sun comes up. We really do need like people to volunteer for security, for entertainment. Bingo needs some help. Carnival games need some help. It's not that you have to overly participate, but as parents, we just need to facilitate some safety to make sure that, everything is moving along and that the kids aren't standing in line. And again, too, I can only speak, but I have heard that it is a lot of fun between 3 and 5. I'm dying to see myself, but I'm hoping that once this volunteer list goes out again, you can find some time. I have gone to volunteer with Keeler down to like decorations. The studio they have now is fantastic. And I have to tell you, for somebody who's not really an art person, like it is very relaxing painting, like, and becoming part of this vision of what is going to be this extraordinary event. So if you do have time, like an hour once a week, or, if you can contribute more than that, it would be fantastic. And if you need to reach out to us, you have questions, please don't hesitate. The Night in Hand email is on TJ's weekly updates, but we're out there on the website. Please reach out to us, bring your friends. It really is a rewarding experience, because for the 4 years that, we've been part of this community, for the 17 years we've lived in town, it's really refreshing to continue to meet people, to be part of like this whole community experience. I really can't, say enough about it, but so please consider volunteering. Thanks. I think that's like all we have. Unless Keeler, you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few little things. This year, because of the situation with the school being still in operation, we are going to be setting up over the course of a number of days. So I think shortly we'll be sending out some specific signups so that people can know the times for those setups and commit to them. Because the way that they're organized, we're going to really need to count on parents to help out. We're going to be setting up the bridge on Saturday. We're going to be moving everything into the school on Friday before graduation, setting up the bridge on Saturday, setting up the dining assembly hall on Monday, and the main hallways and bathrooms on Tuesday. And we have a 4-hour window on Tuesday to get that done. This is all with the goal of having a public preview, because I realize that the last time we had people through the school to look at Night in Hand was 2019. And I think it has a huge impact on the number of parents who are willing to help, because there's many families in the school system that don't even know what Night in Hand is. They haven't seen it. They don't understand all that goes into it. And I think it's really important that we have a parent preview, this in public preview. It's not just for parents, but to get that done, we need a lot of parents to help. So we'll be sending out information like about that. But, this is not just for senior parents, it's for junior parents and sophomore parents or freshman parents. If you get the email, please share it with your friends. Try to encourage a few people to come along with you to help. As much as I need people helping with design and decoration now, those decorations can be the best in the world, but if I don't have parents to help me set them up, they're kind of for naught. So please just keep an eye out for those emails. I'm particularly concerned because if we don't get people kind of involved in experiencing what Night in Hand is, this event, this culture will probably die out. There's a lot that goes into it every year, and there's a lot of history and knowledge that has to go with it. And I'm seeing really very little support from underclassmen parents this year. And if they don't kind of understand what Night in Hand is, it's not going to happen next year. So not to be doom and gloom, but it's a bit worrying. So TJ, you want to add something to that, I'm sure.
Sure, Kyler, thanks. I just want to say a couple of things about Night in Hand. First, Beth, Kyler, and everyone else who's stepped up to help. This event is incredible, and a lot of people probably forgot about it because, like Kyler mentioned, we haven't seen true Night in Hand since 2019, canceled in 2020. And then, a really spectacular outdoor event last year, but definitely different. So I want to publicly thank you both because this easily could have been the end of the tradition. You're keeping it going, and it's a great tradition. I think it's wonderful for our school community and the community at large. But most importantly, it's a safe event for our students on the night of graduation. And that's a really important piece, I think, for all of us. This year's event is different from the past just because the school year for the underclassmen will still be happening. Usually, pre the pandemic, we were managing all of this, which was still a huge challenge during exams. And then the last day of school, which is makeup exams when there aren't really any students at all in the building. This is much more challenging. I do think underclassmen parents need to get involved to see what is actually involved in this entire process, or this could be the end of it, which would be really disappointing. I'm excited for it, and I'm going to help push for some volunteers to make sure it works out really well, but I hope everyone understands how much work has already gone forward by our volunteers, but also the challenges from the school level, just with the 3 grades of underclassmen in the building while we're trying to get this up and running. So you'll see a lot about this between now and June 14th. And Beth, don't forget to mark your calendar to come to our graduation rehearsal at noon on June 14th to talk to all the seniors about Night in Hand.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
You're already on the books with that. The students will be really excited. And we hope they all attend for a really fun and safe event. So if you have questions, again, you can reach out to Beth, Kyler, or me. I'm excited that it's happening again this year. And again, we're operating under no restrictions, which is really great news. And I think the class of 22 will really appreciate the event and have a lot of fun at it. I'm not sure about the 3 to 5 shift, Beth. I'm not sure you sold that completely, but we'll see how that works out.
We'll keep trying. We'll keep trying.
Any members who are just participants today have any Night in Hand questions for any of us before we move on to the next topic on our agenda?
Just as another way to communicate, if you happen to see it, we push a lot of our announcements out through Facebook, like on the Madison pages. We have class pages for 22 through 25 too. So if you could share the information that you see as best you can. If you're on Facebook, we try to use Instagram too to try to again make this a community effort so people in Madison can see it as well. So anything you could do along those lines too, if you do constantly see it, it is because we are trying to get the word out to the best of our ability to communicate with as many people as we can. And I just have one last question. Keeler, can you still donate to Teacher Appreciation Week or?
Yes, you can,
Okay.
through either send a check into the office or made out to Daniel Hand PTO, or I think our links are still, I think there's still slots. And you can find out the Venmo information if you want to Venmo donations. Okay. I think there might even be some food items to be donated. If not, there's definitely opportunities on the in the link.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Great, thank you both for the Night at Hand updates. Our next agenda item is just a summary of a attempt this year, which I think was pretty successful at a DHHS fundraiser. Kim Dunn is one of our special ed teachers who took on this challenge and really did a nice job. She was excited to come to the PTO meeting today to talk about that. So Kim, if you could unmute yourself and just share a little background as to how we started this, I would call it success this first year, and then what our hopes are moving forward as we try this again in future years.
Sure. Thank you everyone for having me here today. So I am the freshman class advisor along with Mrs. Kayla Carroll. She's another special ed teacher. And when we first started this is our first time being advisors, and we realized we had to start fundraising. So we did a little brief fundraiser in the fall, and we earned a few $100s. But then we really started thinking that there had to be a better way to fundraise. Kind of the freshmen and the sophomore classes are kind of competing, with the juniors and seniors. And I thought that it would be nice if, as a school community, we all came together and we're working towards something all together that wasn't a competition, and I really wanted to get students involved along with families and whatnot. So we decided on holding kind of an incentive-based fundraiser, meaning if we earn certain dollar amounts, we would, as a school community, earn prizes, such as, Extra Wellness Wednesday, like ice cream social type thing, whatnot. And then we also got some raffle prizes from community businesses. Cohen's was very nice and donated. Beach Donuts was nice and donated. Mariano's Bakery and like the stand in Branford donated some raffle prizes for us. And so along with donations that not only went to obviously the classes, families were also eligible for different raffle prizes. This year we earned just shy of $3,000. So for our first attempt, we were pretty pleased with that. The 4 classes split the money equally, since it wasn't a competition or anything. And, I was really pleased with the parental support that we received for this fundraiser. I think, we did it kind of quickly, and a lot of our information went out via e-notify. And so I know a lot of parents kind of got the information that way and responded and donated, which we're really happy about. I think going forward, the feedback I've gotten from other class advisors is we want to take more time next year to plan. We think it is a good fundraiser that we'd like to do and hopefully make bigger and better next year. And we're really looking forward, hopefully next year, to have more. We had the parent involvement this year. We'd like to have more student involvement, and we got to get the word out to our student body more, I think. Anything else, TJ, you want me to talk about?
Possibly. That's a really good update. And I think helpful for everyone who is participating today. One of the things I just want to mention is the pandemic, and I'm trying not to talk about it, I just can't help it today, I guess, really eliminated the ability for each of the classes to actually do any fundraising, like car washes, bake sales, for example. Any events gathering were just not allowed for over 2 years. With that being said, when you get to junior year and senior year, the classes really depend on the funds that were raised through the early years fundraising to actually reduce the cost of different events. And if you're a junior parent, you got my message Friday evening and you saw prom tickets $100 this year. Prom tickets are typically never $100. The classes have no funds available. Like the senior class typically has funds available to cover the cost for everyone for the senior brunch, which is a $35 fee. It's nice to be able to cover that. They just don't have those funds this year. So the school-wide fundraiser as a goal to increase just community and decrease competition with fundraisers was excellent, but there's also an underlying reason. Being a parent of a student at Dan O'Han's pretty expensive, especially when they get to the upperclassmen years. We're trying to help the classes have some funds available. And just like as another example, when the incoming freshman class start the year, by October, they have to book their prom dates by October of their freshman year. So they have to book not only dates, but locations, and they secure the reservation with usually a $1,000 to $1,500 deposit. And most classes don't have those funds anymore. So great effort, Kim. I really appreciate it. Some of the fun incentives, I think the students will get into it a little more next year. And we do continue to try it out next year as well. So if anyone has any questions for Kim or for me, I could probably answer some. We'd happily take them right now, but Kim, we do appreciate the update.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to the PTO for all your fun events and treats this week that you have planned for us. I don't want to speak for all the faculty, but, I think I could by saying thank you. We appreciate it. And, we appreciate your ongoing support of the teachers here at Daniel Hans.
Great, Kim. Thank you. Anyone have a question about the fundraiser? Right. Seeing none. Kim, great job. Thank you very much for participating today. You're welcome to stay on, but if you want to go and teach too, that's great.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go monitor the bridge now.
All right. Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Seniors in May are lots of fun.
They are. They are.
All right. Our next agenda item, we typically will have this conversation early in May. Mr. Bodner is going to talk about our class council selection process for the upcoming 22-23 school year. So Mr. Bodner, feel free to take it away.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I would like to start by first echoing what Kim said regarding all the things that you are doing this week. And I even saw Mr. Saluteri eyeballing a donut in the in the lunchroom this morning. He didn't take one, but he was eyeballing them. And okay. And in addition, just thank you all for your service on the PTO and for all that you do throughout the year. I wanted to, in starting here, and I'm not sure, TJ, do I have the ability to screen share?
You will in 1 second, Mr. Bodnar.
Okay.
Just give me a moment. I'll tell you when. I did take a donut. I just didn't eat it yet. I'm trying to fight the pressure. All right, give this screen share a shot. Should work.
Yes, okay. So what I wanted to discuss right now with everyone is the class officer elections. And we sent an email out on Friday that went to students in grades 9, 10, and 11, as well as their parents and guardians, that explained the process. And we have on our website, we have included this as well. So if you go to the students heading on the Daniel Hand website, you'll see that there's a tab here for class officer applications, which is what I have already clicked on. And this explains the process. It is a process that occurs really over the next 4 weeks, and students must meet deadlines in order to be considered. But most importantly, this web page, as well as information that was sent, explains the criteria. And first and foremost, a student, if they are going to run for student leadership and to be a class officer, our expectation is that they're willing to make the time commitment, that they are responsible and supportive members of our school community. I mean, we understand students are going to, ask for changes, look for changes. We encourage that. But what we mean by being supportive is that they're supportive of their other class officers, of their advisors, and, of the mission of the group of really trying to improve Daniel Hand High School. And in looking at this, students must have a minimal GPA of a 2.0 or a C average. They also must not have a number of excessive unexcused absences. And most importantly, they need to also have the support of faculty. If they are a current class officer, they need the support of, and the signature of one of their class advisors. And with that, the importance of that is we always want to ensure if someone is currently holding a position that they are fulfilling their duties, that they are attending, class officer meetings with their fellow officers and advisors, that they as well are attending as much as they can our student leadership meetings that occur during the day. I mean, we recognize that students are going to miss, meetings on some occasions due to conflicts. And with student leadership, there's times that students may have a test at the time that we're meeting, but overall that they are making a good faith effort to attend these meetings and to be participative. So it's important, if they already hold such a position, again, that they obtain that signature. And as you really kind of go through the timeline, you can see it. The first thing that is due is, on May 11th, the completed class officer signature page must be submitted to Mrs. Heller in the main office, and they must do that prior to 3:30 on May 11th. And that should be something that should not be difficult for them to be able to achieve. It's just getting the signatures of 5 current teachers that sign off on saying that they are a good student, that they are someone that is participative in class, cooperative, etc. And once again, if they are presently a class officer, if they obtain the signature of one of their class advisors prior to the 11th, and drop that off in the main office. As you can see, Mrs. Witcher and myself will review those on May 12th and May 13th. And by the end of the day on May 13th, if there was anyone that did not meet the previous criteria rather that I was reviewing, and that's on the website, we would meet with them and inform them of that. By May 17th, their essay is due. This is not a huge extensive essay. It's 150 words or less, but for students to explain why it is that they want to represent their classmates and serve as a class officer and on the broader student leadership team. And you can see there's a tab here on our website for them to submit their essay. And then after they submit their essay, again, Mrs. Witcher and myself will review those essays on May 18th and 19th, just to make sure that there's no inappropriate content. We're not correcting if there's a typo, but we're really reviewing them for the sake to ensure that they're appropriate before they are made public on May 20th. And that's a correction. I believe the email that went out had a typo in it that I, in reviewing documents for this meeting yesterday, pointed out and had it corrected, that it previously showed that the essays would be available to read on May 26th. That was wrong. They'll be available on May 20th. Therefore, students have a week to go onto the website and to review those essays. And they will ultimately vote during PAW on Friday, May 27th. And hopefully, if we are able to, we would maybe be able to announce, who won on the 27th. It may not be possible, because we also usually send e-notifies, and it may be after we return from the Memorial Day weekend that we will notify students on May 31st. But obviously, we know that they're always excited to learn who won. If we're able to do it sooner, we certainly would do that. That, in a nutshell, is really the process. As you can see, it's extensive. If there's any questions that individuals have, I can certainly at this time take those. Okay. I know that the next agenda item was for myself and Mrs. Witcher to discuss the junior and senior prom pre-prom assemblies that we have scheduled. I have the junior class, so I'll talk briefly about that. On Wednesday, May 18th, will be the junior pre-prom assembly. The prom is on Friday, the 20th. At that time, we will meet with students from approximately 8:30 in the morning till 10 a.m. And besides Mr. Salutary and myself talking with juniors, we will also have presenters ready to speak to them that day. One of those will be someone from Steady Photography, hopefully Mr. Steady himself, and he will explain to students the process of senior portraits. As again, as Mr. Salutary talked before, how quickly the year passes by, and the fact that our juniors now will soon be taking their senior portrait pictures, and he'll go over that process and expectations with students. And following that, we have a gentleman by the name of John Morello, who will be presenting to our students. John has a presentation that he does at schools that is titled "I Am Dirt." It really is something that focuses on the challenges and decisions that young people face every day related to substance abuse, bullying, and self-esteem. It is a presentation that I was fortunate enough to see when I was a teacher, probably about 13 or 14 years ago in another school district. And ironically, we reached out to Madison Youth Family Services for recommendations that they would have, and Melissa Boletto shared that John was her all-time favorite presenter, and she felt that he hadn't come to Daniel Hand for more than a decade. And happy to have him back. I know that his message was really well received at the high school that I taught at when he came years ago. And it's not only a great message, but he's very entertaining. He plays the role of 4 different characters during the presentation. And it's really a clever and creative way to capture the attention of the students and to share some really important messages with them. And as always, as I mentioned, TJ will speak with the students briefly, as will myself, about our expectations for a safe and fun night. And again, that will all occur on Wednesday, May 18th. At this time, Mrs. Witcher will speak about the senior pre-prom assembly.
Thanks, Mr. Badner. I just want to echo what everyone else has already said, but thank you all so much as a PTO just for your support constantly, and the events that you're doing this week. I know everyone is super appreciative, so thank you. The senior prom is scheduled for Friday. I'm sorry, I lied. It's Saturday, June 4th. And so the senior pre-prom assembly will take place on Wednesday, June 1st. So on that day, the seniors are expected to come to school at the start of the school day. So if they don't have a period 1 class, they should come in for 7:30 on Wednesday, June 1st. They're going to meet in the dining and assembly hall by 7:45. At that time, TJ, myself, will go over and talk to them about the events that are going to take place both on that day and also expectations for prom. I'm going to share my screen. So Kara Filler is the speaker that's going to be talking with the students on that pre-prom assembly day on Wednesday, June 1st. We're really grateful for Madison Youth and Family Services. They are sponsoring having Kara come to speak to our students. I'll let you read on the screen. You can read a little bit about who Kara is. She has over 20 years of experience as a motivational speaker. She is funny, but she also talks a lot from personal trauma that she's actually gone through. The day before her 18th birthday, she tragically lost her twin sister in a high-speed car accident. So she talks about her real life experience, but also brings awareness to our kids and basically talks to them about how they can care for their friends, how they can be empowered to speak up, trying to get, tell a friend to not get behind a wheel when they've been drinking or to slow down when they're speeding. So she tries to motivate them to make those really tough decisions as a teenager. The specific program that she's doing for us, if you wanted to check out her website, which is just carafiller.com. But if you go to the programs and you click on high school programs, you'll see all the programs that she offers, but our specific one is the Drive to Save Lives program. So that is the one, then the message that our kids specifically will be hearing from her. And I've been told that she will make you laugh and she will make you cry, but that she will really get to our kids. She will allow them to hear her message, which is so important just to ensure our kids stay safe, which is our #1 priority. So on that day, she's going to talk from about 8 o'clock to about 9:15. And then right after she's done speaking is the same day that is the senior class trip. So she's going to speak in the morning, and then at about 9:15, we board the buses and head to Six Flags for the day. So it's a really fun day. So it's a full day. The seniors, like I said, I want to reiterate, they do need to be here at the start of the school day at 7:30, report to the dining and assembly hall, have an hour or so with Kara Filler, and then the day at Six Flags. We will return to Cannes sometime that evening around 7 o'clock. There are many other senior events that are coming up, and all of those are being outlined right now, finalized, and are going to be shared with all of you, including the students, very, very soon. But we definitely wanted to highlight the events for that day. So if anyone has any questions, obviously I'll take them. All right, I don't see anyone's hands or any questions, which is totally appropriate. But I'm going to give it back to TJ.
Thanks, Mrs. Witcher. Thanks, Mr. Bodner, as well. So the pre-prom assemblies, our goal is to help our students think about making good decisions, because we want these events to be really safe and fun events with only positive memories. Kara Filler has been here a few times already. Absolutely incredible. I've heard her several times. It's equally as impressive every time. The students really love it. And I know Mr. Bodner has organized a presentation that should be pretty powerful for our juniors as well. The meeting Mrs. Witcher mentioned that we have with the senior class, is about all of the end of the year expectations, because again, we want our students safe, but we also want them to participate in end of the year events. And one of the things we worry about are bad decisions. And if a student happens to make a bad decision, and we do share this with them, and that's one of the reasons for the meeting, like they come to the prom under the influence of some type of substance, that suspension is so significant that they are no longer invited to any of the remaining year-end events, including graduation, which is a major, major impact on not only them, but on their families. So we try to have them think in advance of what the consequences could be, because teenagers aren't always great at that. So we try and keep it positive, but we do try and encourage obviously really good decisions because we want all very positive year-end events. And that's what I'm going to talk about just briefly. I'm not going to go over everything, so we'd be here for, seems like a couple of hours with all the events we have planned. I will refer back to Saturday's first ever spring fling. We had 517 students out of 865 buy a ticket, and probably just under 500 students attended. It was a great event, a lot of fun. And we've got nothing but some positive reviews from students, or no reviews at all, which is usually pretty positive. So our student body is pretty comfortable letting us know if they didn't like something. We're hoping this participation continues for things like the junior prom, senior prom, and other year-end events. Couple of events I want to mention that are just whole school related or specific to underclassmen. One of my favorite nights of the year, I'll back up, is the May Daniel Hand Art Show that's also combined with the band concert. That's coming up on May 12th, which is next week. Again, we have no restrictions at Daniel Hand High School. That means anyone could come and walk through the building around 5:00 p.m. to see incredible artwork from our entire student body, and then join us on the bridge at about 6 o'clock for some nice presentation and recognition of students who've earned awards. Then you get a little break and you go into the dining and assembly hall and see an incredible concert by our band and our jazz band. That's a great night. Again, you don't have to be a parent of a student involved. We would love to have more people in attendance. Attendance at events has been increasing, which has been outstanding. There's also going to be an orchestra concert, chorus and wassail concert coming up in the very near future. Those are also in May. I would check out your calendar. Those are events, if you're available, it would be great. Again, even if you don't have a student participating, they're just really incredible events. We have our National Honor Society induction ceremony already scheduled on May 26th. Students who are inducted will be invited. Parents are certainly encouraged to attend to that incredible event. Mrs. Witcher is in the process of planning our freshman orientation and club fair. We had to get away from that for a little while because of the pandemic. Now we're planning to have the current 8th graders come over to our building on June 2nd. And then for the wrap up for the underclassmen, at this point, exams are scheduled. Periods 1 and 2 are on June 14th, and we'll send this all out. If you're trying to write it all down, I give you a lot of credit, but we'll send it all out to everyone, and it's on our calendar. Periods 3 and 4 are on June 15th, and 5 and 6 are on June 16th. Those are the days where students get out at 12:15. June 17th is the last day of school. That's a makeup exam day. If you're a parent of a freshman, just as an FYI, your child only has to come to school on that day if they have to make up an exam. That day is usually pretty student-free, but we build it in just in case there's a missed exam here or there. And it's usually worked out really well, but there's certainly a lot going on. I suggest checking our calendar to see if you're available. As Mrs. Witcher mentioned a moment ago, the year-end senior events seem endless at this point. We are sending an e-notify to the class of 22 and their families Friday afternoon after the weekly e-notify that will detail every single event that's up already on the calendar, and we're planned for the rest of the year, which is pretty exciting. Mr. Bodner already, or Mrs. Witcher, excuse me, already mentioned the pre-prom assembly as well as the senior trip. Senior Awards, which is a fantastic event, is scheduled on Thursday, June 2nd in the Dining and Assembly Hall, and all parents are invited to attend. We'll invite the whole class as well. Keeping in mind, any student who is receiving any recognition or an award that evening will receive an invitation so they know they'll be receiving something. If someone doesn't get an invitation, they can still attend. They're certainly welcome to, but it's usually a really special event. This is the first year since COVID that we're actually having outside presenters at this event again as well. So it should be really, really nice. Senior prom is June 4th on that Saturday. That's always a really fun event. Then for seniors, this is important, their exams are earlier. They end their school year earlier than all of the underclassmen. They'll take their non-core exams during the normal school day on June 6th and 7th. That's if they have to take an exam. Like we have a senior exam exemption policy. It's in our handbook. It's based on final cumulative average in most courses, not all. If you have a senior, they can tell you all about it. They certainly know about it at this point because some are working really hard to get that 89.5 final average, so they do not have to take the exam. For seniors only, this is not a parent event. On Monday, June 6th, we'll be doing a senior yearbook dedication and distribution. So all the seniors who are interested come to the dining and assembly hall. The yearbook was dedicated to some faculty or staff member. I go as well because I'm not sure who it is. It's the unveiling at that point. And then all seniors actually watch a presentation of the superlatives that they voted on, as well as getting their yearbooks. It's a fun afternoon, doesn't take too much time. At the end of that event, which is about a half an hour, seniors will check in with Mr. Bodner and Mrs. Witcher for the name pronunciation challenge that we have at graduation. Some of the student names could be a little challenging to pronounce. We check in with each of the students to make sure we're saying their name correctly. And we also give students a chance, like, let's say my middle name is Robert and I want Anthony R. Salutary read. I could tell Mr. Bodner, who's reading my row, that's how I like my name read. So we do give students a lot of options. Mrs. Witcher will be sending out a request to students in a Google form to get input. So you might want to start having that conversation, because it's important that not only do we say their names accurately, but we try to obviously say what they want to hear. Senior exams are on June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Really only 2 days, the 8th and 9th. On June 8th, during period 2 and 3, they'll take the social studies and ELA exams. And on June 9th, periods 2 and 3, they'll take math and science. Those take place in the Library Media Center, again, if applicable. June 10th is a makeup exam day. So a student who is all set with their exams and is a senior doesn't come in on June 10th. One of the most exciting days for our seniors and for us is the cap and gown and graduation distribution, graduation ticket distribution. That's going to be Friday, June 10th at 1:30 to 2:30. That's after school. We typically would do that on a morning of exams when the underclassmen are not in the building. That isn't the case this year. So we'll have our seniors meet us in the West Building. They'll get their caps and gowns and tickets. If a senior has an obligation, let's say they broke their Chromebook and they owe us a fee for that, they will get a bill instead of their cap and gown and tickets. And if the obligation is not met, they will not get their cap and gown and tickets. So you might want to start checking with your students earlier than later, especially if they have that old pre-calc book on the floor in their bedroom and they took that course last year. You might want to have them bring it in now so they don't have that challenge when we hand out tickets and caps and gowns. One thing, because the senior class is only 235 students, that's very small in comparison to past years. We've had upwards of 330 seniors just 5, 6, 7 years ago. We are able to increase the tickets for each family from 5 to 6. So all families will get 6 tickets, which should prove helpful. Some families don't need 6, but I do know we always have a few families saying, do you have 1 extra ticket? So everyone will receive six tickets for graduation this year. And I can see that continuing moving forward. The Monday, June 13th and 14th, those are big days for the senior class, and quite frankly for us as well. We'll go to a senior brunch at Woodwinds at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Brunch takes about an hour and a half. All the students have to go on a bus. They're not allowed to drive their cars anywhere outside of town lines. After brunch, they'll come back to Daniel Hand, they'll jump in their cars and they'll meet us on the green for the mandatory rehearsal. First one, it's a big one, usually takes a few hours just to make sure all of the seniors know what to do for our graduation event on the following day. And then on June 14th, the seniors will meet us at noon for their second rehearsal. And there's only 2 rehearsals this year. That one's about an hour and a half. We just make sure seniors have all their questions answered. We talk to them about Night in Hand. And to be honest, on a graduation day, we like them to be with us as opposed to just loose and, with nothing to do that entire day. So we'll get them out of there at about 2 o'clock. They have to return to the green for graduation at 5:15. We start right at 6 o'clock p.m. It should be an excellent event. Just a reminder, if the weather is not wonderful, we'll still hold the event. Like if it's raining, we don't cancel. Thunderstorms or severe weather, would cancel the event. And if that was the case, we would move it to the following day at the same time. We're not going to go in the morning. We would go on Wednesday, June 15th, excuse me, at 6:00 p.m. But the more we talk about the weather, it's like guaranteeing it will be fantastic that evening. So I'm looking forward to a really positive event. We will be, again, sending this information to families this week, just because I know a lot of planning goes into play, especially if you have a senior. We're hoping there's, again, a lot of participation and a lot of attendance at these events, because we've missed that over the last couple of years. It seems to be getting a lot better now. And again, moving forward from all the challenges this pandemic has caused. Anyone have any questions on the year-end events? I know that's just a lot, but I wanted to let people know that we've scheduled everything we've typically scheduled, and we're looking forward to these events. Some obviously already have begun. All right, no questions. Quiet Zoom crowd today, I get that. So before we end today's PTO meeting, I wanted to echo what some of our staff and administrators have said to the PTO, just incredible support every single year. And even during the really challenging times of, trying to educate students during a pandemic, the PTO support has never, ever wavered. It's been outstanding. Kyler and Beth, I'm sad that you're leaving. It's like emotional for us. You have been incredible supports over the years. Your years of service to the PTO are commendable. The time, the support you have given has been endless. You've been incredible to work with. It really saddens me, and that's an ultimate compliment I could give you, that your time is ending as members of our PTO board. I can say with a certainty that you're going to be missed. I hope you stay in touch. I'm sure we'll be reaching out, possibly offering, per diem pay for night and hand support next year or something, but you've been absolutely incredible. And for our other PTO officers who have jumped or stepped up this year, it's been absolutely great to work with you and incredible. Jan, you're going to do great things in your new role. We'll get you a little president sticker. I know that's to be a little challenging at times to think about that, but I would say, I always feel lucky to be the principal at Daniel Hand. The community support we receive is outstanding. And when we do receive feedback that's not always positive, it's usually justified, and we do appreciate that because it helps us make better decisions and really focus on ongoing improvement. So Beth and Tyler, if we were in a in-person meeting, we'd probably all give you a hug and clap for you. So I'm not sure we can really do, there's not like the hug emoji or anything, I don't believe, on Zoom. But we'll talk a lot before the school year ends. I just wanted to give a genuine thank you to both of you and say you'll be greatly missed as we move forward. So thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate it. We'll send a Zoom link out of this meeting on Friday. And just one final note, there's probably going to be even more e-notifies than usual these last 2 months of school. I would ask that you read them. It seems like a lot of people are, because we try to share as much important information as we can with a lot of reminders, because I know how busy life gets, especially during the end of the school year. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time, and stay healthy out there. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.